Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me on my live streams that I do most weekdays, or outside of my live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also, if you are interested in getting some ideas of the meals that our family enjoys, we have a Pinterest board that has links to a lot of our family's favorite whole food plant-based meals. Today is day 652. Is that right? Of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds? Yes, 652. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food plant-based diet to lose over 200 pounds. A few people checking in saying hello. Carrie says that photo on the intro looks nothing like me now. Yes, I look much thinner and much better now. Rick says, hey. Shy says hi. And Pretty Girl's mom says hi. I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. It has been a whole week since I went live. I went live on the 8th, I think, and then everything got really busy with work and life, and I had to miss going live. And I've also had other stuff, I suppose, that has given me reason not to go live too. But let's switch over to the main screen here. So yeah, it's been a week. Feels like so much has happened in the past week. So I don't know where to even start. So food has not been great for the last week. I've remained, I haven't eaten any animal products, but I have eaten a lot of kind of crap food over the past week. I allowed excuses to, to give me reasons to give into the temptations that I, need to find a way to avoid or figure out what I am going to do or how I'm going to do it, I guess. It's been challenging really ever since the beginning of August. So really the last 2 weeks since getting back from being away on our trip. There's a huge number of things that have kind of put me in the position I'm in now. A big thing, being that I was out of town for the week and our routine really got jacked up and shifted. I feel like as much as I love going on the trip and doing it really screws with my diet because I started the diet in 2022 in November, and I was dead set on the diet for 10 months, eating whole food, plant-based, no salt, oil, sugar. Got injured, went on that week-long RAGBRAI event for work, and then came back, had the injury, kind of, actually did well during the week last year, was able to stay compliant, but I didn't eat much, I guess would be the difference, because I lost 15 plus pounds that week. And so this year, going in, had lots of the same plans, intended to do many of the same things, but really just right away, the first day, the first morning that I was gone, I put myself in a position where I didn't have a good choice for food for me. And last year I may have been in the same boat, but because I had not had anything off diet, I stuck to the diet, whereas this year, because I've had things that, I've allowed myself to indulge in these things, that it was easier for me to do it this year. And so the first morning, it was just me and my kid, and he was getting hungry, and I just didn't bring a lot of great stuff. And so we ended up having Chipotle for lunch, essentially. I guess we got there pretty much when they opened at like 11. And that kind of was the start of, the not worrying so much about being 100%. And that was like day one, so I haven't, it's also over the past 2-3 weeks, it hasn't been that every meal and every bite that I've eaten has been awful or not salt, oil, sugar free. I've had a lot of meals, and I've had probably most of my meals have been on diet. It's just, especially this past weekend, I just kind of let myself go, or let it kind of just quit, just didn't worry about it, like I just ate whatever I wanted to eat or drank whatever I wanted to drink, and was kind of sort of like I did, for 20 years, just I'm going to let future John deal with the problems, but I'm going to have this soda now. And our Tiny Acre says, hugs, beautiful people. Glad I could catch you today. That's great. I'm glad that you're here. I haven't been live for a while. But gosh, I forget the last thing I just said, but it's been tough because I have, and I think I talked about this maybe when I was live last time too, is that I'm in just such a better spot than I was 2 years ago. So even feeling as bad as I could possibly feel right now, it's better than I felt on my best days at 500 pounds. So there's also kind of that issue. Oh, I was talking about letting the future me deal with the fact that I, had candy or had chips or had something that I shouldn't have had. Our Tiny Acre says that they were having issues with soda till a couple months ago when gout hit your bunions. That seems rough. I imagine that would make difficult to do much walking around, I guess. But then when you got rid of soda, did it help you? I guess that would be my other question. I imagine it must have. That's why you're bringing it up. So yeah, I mean, and I also, there was one day last week that I probably could have figured out how to go live. It would have been tough, but I didn't have I didn't have it in me to get in front of the camera and try to act like things were going great, and it would have been tough, but I didn't have the accountability of this either. over the past few weeks. And I let this, doing the live streams kind of go to the side a bit. And that accountability really makes a difference. I'm finding just having people that I don't want to disappoint with, my goals or reaching, with my progress towards reaching my goals. So I'm happy to kind of be back into the swing of things. I've recommitted to the diet again. I don't know if maybe tomorrow will be my first, day one of the diet, like starting anew, from now until, because that is when I started this channel, I decided that I was going to do this challenge for 3 years. And there's a lot of different reasons why 3 years was what I chose. I wanted to give myself a realistic amount of time to lose the weight. And I knew that many times in the past I had rushed my weight loss. But a big part of it was also to develop new habits and to learn how to eat better and more appropriate, or have a more appropriate diet. And one of the things that in the back of my head that, anyway, something that when I was in high school, I used to go to a wrestling camp. And one of the instructors was an old gentleman who loved to talk about repetition and learning things. And he used to always say that if you want to be good at something, you got to do it 1,000 times. You got to do it until it gets into the back of the brainstem. And he would say it in this goofy West Virginia voice. And he'd slap the back of his head and he'd be like, you got to get to in the back of your brainstem. You got to do it 1,000 times. And I thought, you know what? If I stick to my diet for 3 years, that's over 1,000 days. That means, 1,000 times, And so going in, I kind of had this expectation of myself to do it for 1,095 days and to be perfect and to be on diet 1,000 times, 1,000 days. And when I got to the 10-month mark and we ended up going out for a celebration dinner after we received an award for our nonprofit, that ended that streak. That ended the moment that eating that meal, I didn't realize it at the time how big of a streak that was breaking. That I was on a streak of that point of 300 days or something where I had not had any salt, oil, or sugar. And that I allowed myself to give into the idea that it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just one meal. It was just one thing. And then that turned into, really being that there's been a few periods, like at the beginning of the year here, where I did get back into it and I was doing it for a couple weeks or a month or two. But really since that time, there's been almost weekly, I've had some sort of excuse, or at least if you averaged it, it would probably be weekly, for why for why it's acceptable. I would give myself an excuse and make it work. And so The Carrie says that she still wishes that the first cheat meal had made us feel sick. Yes, and it's it's something that if it would have made us feel sick, maybe it would have changed how we did the next meal, obviously. But so our tiny acre said that the gout was painful and the soda was the only thing you were doing that causes gout. Just dropping the soda made you lose 10 pounds quick too. That's awesome. And yes, I need to stop drinking the soda, and the soda is I'm going to go into a rant in the middle of this, I suppose, when I have such a completely different perception of soda than I did 2 years ago. I used to drink diet soda, ungodly amounts of diet soda, like at least 120 ounces a day. So like we would get these 20-ounce bottles, and I would drink at least a 6-pack a day, if not more. And I always was like, oh, it's diet soda. It's no calories, no big deal. And now fast forward 2 years later, and if presented with a regular soda or a diet soda, there's absolutely no way I would ever drink the diet soda. I would drink the soda with the corn syrup or the sugar in it now. And so I do have kind of this weird, like, my whole life I thought diet soda was better than real soda, but now I'm realizing that maybe real soda is better than diet soda. And then would Barb say the pleasure trap is a real powerful force, and soda plays into the pleasure trap 100%. I mean, it's got all of that dopamine response with zero fiber, zero actual nutritional benefit to your digestive system, and you just want to drink more of it. And really that temptation, that pleasure trap temptation, he talks about in the book, or they talk about in the book, like when you have a relative trying to tempt you to eat something at a family event, if you give in to that temptation, the next time you go to a family event, it'll be harder for you to resist that temptation again. Whereas if you would have resisted it the first time, it would be easier for you to resist it again. And so that same thing happens with the diet too, is that you stick to the diet, and then you have that first bite of something off diet, and then you find a justification. I did it with this. So I went away for a week on Ragbri, and I ate really anything that was, vegan. And I got back and I lost 1.5 pounds. And I was disappointed that I only lost 1.5 pounds. But the fact that I lost 1.5 pounds was an accomplishment, because I was eating lots of food that had salt, oil, sugar, and very high calorie dense foods. And so and also I was very busy, so I wasn't eating as much food because I wasn't around, or I wasn't thinking about food as much. But then I come back and I've allowed these high calorie dense foods into my diet, but I cut the activity in half. I think I showed on the one day during that week, I had done 28,000 steps. It was like 15 miles that I walked in a day. And I came back from that trip where I was walking at least 10, 11 miles a day, and only lost 1.5 pounds. So then I come back, keep eating that same food. Steps went back to where they were before, like sub 10,000 or maybe 10,000, at least half as few steps. then I was doing that week of Ragbri, but then I didn't change the diet back. I continued to eat the little bit of salt and sugar, probably mostly sugar is my downfall. And then the weight kind of came back up. I love seeing that my current weight says 299.8, but I'm not at 299.8. And I'm really frustrated to think how long it's going to take me to get back to 299.8. Let's see here. Our Tiny Acre says that they found that they like Egyptian licorice tea. You make it hot to steep, then you put it in the fridge and you drink it cold. Okay. The mirror is a real powerful force too. I imagine that's for motivation to keep going, I guess. Colleen says that you leave on your 10-day trip on Wednesday. You're telling yourself not to divert because you don't want to play catch up when you get home. That game is way too hard. You're down nearly 10 pounds and you have about 10 or 15 to go. Yeah, it's something with traveling that, do your best. Get yourself as prepared as possible. Try to create alternatives. And do what you can, and the longer you can stay compliant, the better off you're going to be. Because like with my trip, I went off diet day 1. So that means I had 8 days where I was off diet. If I would have waited till day 5, then I would have had 3 days where I was off diet. So it would have made a difference. I would have had much fewer calories. I probably would have lost more than the 1.5 pounds I lost. But that's and that's something that I really liked about Chef AJ's book, The Secret to Ultimate Weight Loss, is that she does take a lot of time to talk about traveling, because that's one of the things that's probably ruined more diets than any other single thing, is travel. Like, it's probably ruined more long-term diets. Like, if you could be on a diet for a month, there's maybe certain things that, or in that first month, there's certain things that cause people to go off diet. A number of things. Just having a bad morning, can cause somebody to go off a diet in the first month. But you get to people that are on their diets for 8, 9 months or a year. I bet that, family drama might be something that early on causes people to quit diets, but 10 months in, family drama is not as big a thing. But 10 months in, travel, I think, something that outside of routine probably has caused the demise of more diets than just about anything. So, like I said, I really like that she had that in the book. And again, I wish I would have figured something out on day 1. Yes, stay compliant is as long as possible. Day 5 is absolutely better than day 1. Yes. Carrie says that she's gonna have to hunt that down. I believe that is the Egyptian licorice tea. She's doing a mint tea today. Encourages you to drink more water today. Yes, I was feeling earlier like I was kind of jonesing for a soda, and I was like, I should just train myself that anytime that I'm wanting a sugary drink like that I should just drink water, because maybe it's not just that I am craving soda. Maybe it's that I'm craving water and my body is thinking of the most calorie dense thing that is water that I could drink, And so even though your brain may be telling you, hey, go have a soda, it might actually be saying, hey, go get something to drink. But soda would be really cool, And so you can be like, just like with my kids, when they run up to me and say, hey, Dad, can I have a soda? and I said, hey, let's have some apple juice, let's have some water, let's have something other than soda, I'm that filter for my kids because they ask for permission. Whereas when it's yourself, you're not as good of a filter. You're like, yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of, when you get hungry, you don't just think of food. Like when you get hungry, your first thought isn't necessarily carrots or broccoli. In some cases, your first thought might be, what's the most enjoyable thing that I have in my cupboard? And it may be the ingredients to something much better than just going and grabbing a couple sticks of, baby carrots out of the fridge. So, Tiny Acre says you keep a water bottle by you now at all times. I should do that a little bit better. But I have better access to water at work where I'm at now. And I kind of lying. I have a cup of water right here. So I guess I do have water by me. Gosh, there were so many things I was going to talk about. We did an event this weekend that was a local festival. Think of like, the local, I don't know, a lot of towns have them. I'm trying to think of a way to, so they have a carnival come to town. They have concerts where like local bands play each night. This event is actually big enough for our town that they do a firework display one night. They actually do fireworks for this event as opposed to doing fireworks for 4th of July, because you can go a lot of other places to check out 4th of July fireworks. And so, anyways, this event was in our hometown and it was for our nonprofit, and we had a table set up that I ended up seeing a lot of people from high school, and it's something that it's such a weird dynamic being in a town where I went to high school and having the chance to run into people from school. Whereas my wife, she's from 5 hours away. So if she ever ran into anybody from school in town, that would be very weird. But a few things that were interesting. Somebody had asked outside about if because like I said, I saw a decent number of people, just had quick conversations, and somebody close to me had asked if anybody had made any comments about my weight loss. And I kind of laughed that nobody really had, but most of these people would remember me from high school, and I was pretty much the weight I am now, or at least the build that I am now. So to them, I wouldn't look too much different than I did in high school. There's a few that may have seen me over the past few years that would notice, but I'm still very large, I guess, is the other thing. That if I had gone from being 520 pounds to the same weight as them, or down to my goal of 220, then that might be more of a noticeable change. But, not that losing 200 pounds isn't noticeable, but going from being 280 pounds heavier than them to just 80 pounds heavier than them, I'm still just heavier than them. And I think we all have a little bit of a hard time with gauging other people's size or our own size and things like that. So, so I didn't have a lot of comments like that, which I wasn't expecting that anyways. But what was a weird internal thing for me is that a year and a half ago, 520 pounds, didn't like going to public events, didn't really do these things, tried to pawn them off on my wife if possible, or skip them or find an excuse not to do them. And then now I've lost this weight and I feel so much better, so much more confident, not worried about if people are going to be judging or things like that as much as when I was over 500 pounds. And so overall, my confidence is through the roof, much better than it was at 520 pounds. But then, the last 2 weeks I've put on some weight. You know, I feel bloated. I feel a little fat. I mean, I am fat, but I feel a little fatter than my best. Like I wasn't the best version of myself that I've been in the past month even. And so I was a little bit sad, I guess, or just that I was the people that I was talking to, they weren't seeing what I felt like would have been the trimmest version of me or the best looking version of me. And so that was in the back of my head a little bit, you know, like, is this shirt fitting tighter? You know, because I'm wearing clothes that are much tighter. Like I was wearing loose clothes, big clothes to fit over me, and then they were even bigger, so I didn't feel like I was showing off my fatness. And now I'm wearing much tighter fitting clothing, and so to have a 10-pound kind of swell in my skin, I noticed that when I put the clothes on. Colin says that you think looking the same as high school you is a win. Oh, absolutely. They maybe didn't see you at your biggest, but I see a lot of people that are now so big compared to the high school times. Yes. Yeah, it is for me to be at this weight, considering where I was, is a huge win. And it also makes it tough for me to keep that motivation. Like I was so motivated to lose weight at 520 pounds because there were so many different health things going on and pushing me to lose the weight. And now that I've lost 200 pounds, so many of those health things had started to go away or disappeared. And I have the muscle build and skeletal structure set up to be moving around 200 pounds more than I'm actually moving right now. And so things that were just so tough before have become like easy to do. And because they become easy to do, I also spend less energy doing them. And it all leads to that calories expended part of the calories in, calories out, or I like to say calories absorbed or calories out. But yeah, it's definitely a win where I'm at now. And you know, I really was I've been happy with how things have been going for the last 652 days, over 650 days. Crazy. And I'm looking forward to what's coming up. But I guess I'm a little bit frustrated too, is that I thought that I was fixing all these health problems. And I am. I'm fixing some health problems. But I just felt like I was, I'm out of the woods for so many different possible things that could happen to me. I read Dr. Dr. McDougall's, or Dr. Greger's book, How Not to Die, and the 15 different leading causes of death and how eating a plant-based diet is going to help that. Um, and I kind of started to convince myself that just eating a diet free of dairy and animal products was good enough, and that I'd be able to continue to lose weight as long as I just cut those things out. And I found over the past year of this that that's really not the case. Is that, as good as you think you're doing when you're eating any foods that are real high calorie dense foods, that it makes it much more difficult to lose weight. But I still felt like that as long as I was animal product free, that I was fixing all these health problems, and that I wasn't going to see these problems anymore. And one of the big motivators for me to start this diet was the fact that I was seeing a lot of swelling in my lower legs, like around my ankles and my shins. And I was having some issues with the skin was getting like sores on it, and if I scratched it, it would really be bad. Like the skin would kind of pick off and it wouldn't heal very well. And it was a big motivator for me to do my first fast a year and a half before I started this challenge. I did that fast, and during that 30 days, those sores dried up, the swelling went down, and I really saw some health benefits from it. And then over the next year and a half, I gained all that weight back, plus another 60 pounds, got up to 520 pounds. Swelling was back just as bad as it was. The sores weren't really as back like they were, but the swelling had come back. And then my left leg had started to swell too. And that's kind of one of the many kind of things that led me to starting this challenge. And because I had fasted before, I knew that it had helped with the swelling, and I thought, well, I'm going to do that again to help with that swelling again, and also kind of use it to kickstart whatever I'm going to do. So I start the fast in November 2020. And by the end of the fast, the swelling had gone down a ton. Any sores or redness that were building up around my ankles were really starting to go down in color, and really amazed at the progress that my legs have made. I've kept kind of eye on it. I've been watching it just to see. I've had just an incredible amount of progress towards improving my lower legs. And so much so that I've talked about at length about the loose skin that's built up around my calves, and how it's kind of disappointing that I have all this loose skin, because I didn't think that that was going to be a place that I develop loose skin. But I'm very proud that I kind of fixed the problem, that I got to a point where I had this loose skin around my calves, and my ankles looked thin like they were supposed to look. And then this past 3 weeks, I've been eating crap food. I've been letting junk food into my diet, but I've maintained that I haven't eaten any dairy products, any animal products. I've just been eating, a mostly plant-based, vegan diet for the last 3 weeks. And over the last couple days, my legs my leg is really swollen up a lot. And it's frustrating. Like that loose skin, there's still a little bit of it. Like it's not like swollen up like it was when I was at my heaviest, but my sock kind of creates a little bit of a ring from the compression, and it's definitely swollen up. And it's just proof to me that I haven't fixed anything, or I haven't fixed everything, and that maybe there's some things that won't ever be fixed. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's hit me about it, is that I've always kind of felt like I can fix the problem. That'll get fixed. My body will fix it. And there's maybe some things that I took too far, living 38 years, eating whatever I wanted, however I wanted, and pushing the limits of my circulatory system might have pushed it past its, breaking point, and maybe it will fix, but maybe it'll take 38 years to fix. If it took 38 years to break it, maybe it'll take that long to fix it. And it's just not, it's not like, it's enough that I feel like I need to worry about it or pay attention to it, but also I know that if I stick to this diet 3 weeks from now, I can be sitting here talking about all the loose skin around my calves again. It's just wild what's causing it, like I kind of was hoping it was going to be the dairy, that I could have this oil and the salt and the sugar and not get this swelling. But also it's probably a decent amount of the weight that I'm gaining is some sort of fluid retention in my limbs. So anyways, I really kind of went on today about a lot of different things. I'm intending to go live more this week. I do not think I'm going to weigh in. I think that I'm going to give it a week or so, see what I can do, see where I can get my head, because I'm not out of it yet, I guess. Like it's still, I got a lot going on, and I'm trying to figure it out. Our Tiny Acre says that you have issues every time you let the oil and the sugar back in yourself. Yeah, it's rough. I don't know. Like I said, I have this weird thing with soda where it's like all of a sudden it's not enemy number 1, it's enemy number 2. And I used to hang out with enemy number 2 all the time when I thought that diet soda was not as bad as soda. And so that's kind of a weird thing for me, but yeah, the oil and the salt, like the chips, you could just so easily just sit there and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat in the volume. And it's tough because of that volume. I have to find ways to make staying on my diet easier than the alternative. That's what I have to do. That's what I ask of all you guys is do that. Soda is a difficult thing to really kick for your husband. He is on a diet. Yeah, it's like I said, I think that maybe it's part of that you're just thirsty. And your brain just goes to what's the tastiest thing I can have that satisfies my thirst. And if maybe we can retrain our brains that water is what we go to, like if I think, oh, I should get a soda, then I think, well, maybe I'm thinking I should get a soda because I'm just thirsty. So I just need water. Because I try to tell my kids that all the time. If you're hungry, if you're really that hungry, let's go grab that bag of carrots. Let's go mow on some carrots if you're really hungry. But if you're not really hungry, then maybe that's why you're wanting the jelly toast or whatever. Our Tiny Acre says, luckily you aren't a chip person. Your husband is. Angela says that your weakness is the combination of oil and starches, breads, etc. He's now addicted to diet soda. I think it's a drive for the sugar dopamine hit. Yeah, the diet soda. I used to drink it all the time, and people would say, drink water. You should be drinking water. Well, water is the number one ingredient in diet soda, right? No, there's a lot that I don't know if Salt, Sugar, Fat was the book I read that it talked about it, but the things like that soda has that flavor, that taste that you would be looking for if it had sugar. They had to make that taste somehow. And for it to have 0 calories means that flavor has to be essentially not or not digestible. Because if it was digestible, if it had any type of substance to it, then it would have calories. And so I've kind of tried to think of, or I have thought of diet soda as drinking like plastic, because it's sweet flavored plastic, I guess. There's, maybe that's the wrong way to think about it, but I also know that for as much soda as I have had over the past few weeks, if I was drinking diet soda, I would have consumed 10 times the volume of diet soda than I have of regular soda, because the calories in regular soda, I just feel like are cause me to drink less of it. Pretty Girl's mom says that Dr. Goldhamer says that when we let things creep back in, we are on the get fat and gain weight diet. Yes, the get fat and gain weight diet. Yeah. And it's hard to break ourselves of what we want to eat. Yeah. I mean, I did it all day yesterday. I had to drive. I was doing a bunch of stuff, and I had to constantly battle, and you're battling yourself, and it's almost to a point where it's like, I'm arguing with myself not to stop at a gas station now, but I know that even as much as I talk myself into not going to the gas station right now, I only have a quarter tank of gas left in the vehicle. I'm going to be stopping at a gas station an hour from now anyways for that. So even if I talk myself out of going this moment, I know there's going to be a chance where I'm going to be going to the gas station soon anyways. And then, it's just a horrible mind numbing argument to have. And maybe, I've said this before, abstinence is just saying there's zero tolerance, and that's something I know Goldhamer would be all about that, like that's, perfection is definitely the goal with that. And so I'm working on it. I've done well today. It's just been a difficult couple weeks, and I knew that I needed to get back and do this live stream again so that I could kind of talk these things out or try to figure them out. So I should be live again tomorrow. I'm going to get out of here today. I appreciate everybody again following along. 50 minutes in today, just me rambling. So if you're still here, thank you so much. I'll be back live tomorrow and the rest of this week. I think that I'll be live. I don't think I have anything coming up. I'm going to start trying to slow down my running around part of my life and start doing more of sitting at my desk part of my life. And it's that time of year. So I'm going to get out of here. Rick says, take care. Carrie says, mega veggie chili. It's mega veggie chili Monday. We got out of that routine. Routine makes a big difference too, guys. I know I'm just throwing crap at the end of this, but yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nothing coming up that's more important than getting your health and your overall well-being in control. Nobody ever gets to their goals and wishes they would have waited. Everybody wishes they would have started sooner. So get started right now, guys. And I will see you tomorrow.